in this little playground under SketchUp web version. I messed up on this one. I learned some things, didn't use proper reference points. This guy looks good, but he's not quite right. Messed up on him. But we'll do a similar thing to him. This one here was my first one. A little too complicated. Let's show you a simpler one that we can do in a short amount of time. Okay, first thing I need is a reference point. And that's what I messed up on that green one. So we want a reference point in a certain number of inches. Well, let's measure what we have here. We should have 48 by 48. Let's use our ruler, T. Start at that point there. Measure to that point there. Yes, 48 inches. Okay, so if I draw a line in to here, let's see, let's measure that. That should be 6 inches. Measure from there to there. Let's constrain it along the red axis using the arrow keys. Oh, that doesn't come out to be there, 6 inches to that face. Alright, so that's a 6 inch. So coming in from that far corner, let's come in 9 inches. So then I will be, well, let's see, that's a 5 inch to that face, isn't it? So 5 inches to that face, 3 inches in from there. Let's do 8 inches in from that outer face. Will give us a good reference point. So let's draw our line. L. Type L. Start at that end corner. Now I drew a rectangle for the base of this thing. That gives me a good reference point from then on. So that's my end point. Click. Come in on the face. I could constrain it to that axis by hitting the down arrow, and then I could type 8. It was already on that line anyway, but I'm going to type 8 just to make sure. Now that is my reference point. That will be the end point. And now let's draw a line out from there, straight out this way. So find that end point, and it's constrained along the green just because I happen to be following it. Down key, make sure, let's see, left key, left arrow, make sure it's constrained along that as I zoom around and pan. And let's just come out here. Do I have a length where it's come out? Let's see. About this far. So 67 inches. Let's make it 70. Type in 70. Enter. So that's my reference point for my plan to draw an arc along here. Well, since I'm drawing a line, let's go ahead now and draw a line from that reference point. I know it's 3 inches in. But I don't have a plane to make sure I'm parallel with that plane here. So let's draw a line here, and we'll go up, and I'll constrain it along the axis again, up arrow to constrain on the blue. And now I can make sure that line will stop. How about we make our slide, the bottom of our slide, let's make it stop at the face of the platform. Okay, so that will be bottom of our slide. We could make the top of our slide be even with the top face. That might actually be better. But the problem is my arc ends there. Let's make that be the bottom of my slide because it's going to be coming up at an angle. So choose that face to be that endpoint. And I'm done with any reference lines. Oh, actually I'm not. I'm going to draw a line from there down to there. I have a plane face. Let's just verify that it is. Yeah, it looks like it's nice and parallel. That's going to be, this is simply going to be my reference. And I'm going to draw a profile and then push-pull it that direction. Okay, so let's go ahead and we can delete some extra things here. I'm going to do my selection tool. We can delete that face. Let's draw an arc now. It's going to be the path of our slide, and we'll do a similar one to the green one. So let's do an arc, and the basic 2-point arc, that endpoint to that endpoint, and then choose some reference. It's on the blue axis, which is what I want, so a little curve like that. Now because I drew between lines, I'm getting all sorts of faces. We're going to go ahead and delete those extra lines. Delete that. let's see, we'll leave that one there just as a reference line. We can delete that face though. And we'll leave this reference point. I might need that, although I do have that. Now what we want to do is give our slide some width. So I'm going to select that line, and we're going to offset that. So I come over here to offset, and I'll have an edge point. I'll go ahead and select, I like selecting known points. I'll select that end point right there. Does it give me an end point? Boy. There. And we'll come this direction. And let's go 1.5 inches. That's been the width of our other items. 1.5. So we're offsetting that line 1.5. That's going to be the face of the edge of my slide. But we want rounded corners, so rather than later on chamfering my corners, let's go ahead and round our corners. So I'm going to draw a line, and they're going to be 1/2 inch radius lines. What I like to do is draw my reference line, starting at that end point, coming along, point, type in 0.5, enter. We need a line to reference our other end and make sure that they meet between the two, so I'm going to draw a line from here to here. And I might as well draw my 1/2 inch reference line here as well. Come up on the edge, 0.5, enter. Now let's draw our arc A. Find our endpoints. Now either one will work. I'll start with that one. Come find that endpoint, double click. Sometimes it will automatically cut it away, other times not. There's my endpoint of that reference line. And when it turns pink, it is tangent. And I'd like to form a face. I'll go ahead and delete the faces. Select, delete. Select, delete. I like select, delete better than the eraser, just because I make sure I can tell what's going to be erased. Okay, so I have a nice rounded edge there, rounded corners there. They're going to be push-pulled that direction. Before I push-pull, I'm going to go to the other end of my slide and draw my reference line, endpoint to endpoint, and around the corners. But first I have to draw my reference lines, right? 1/2 inch on that face, on that edge, 0.5. 1/2 inch on that edge, 0.5. Enter. Now my arc, A. Come find the endpoint, and double click tangent. Find my endpoint, double click tangent. There. And now come delete extra things using my selection tool. Select, delete, select, delete. I'm leaving this line here just because it might be a good reference point. Now at this point, I am ready to push-pull this face across to form my slide. And then we can move it in to touch our platform later. But I want a reference point. Let's just make sure we have our measurements right. Let's go ahead and do a little measurement from our reference point. Let's do a T. We'll measure T from there. Oh, I've got to get the line correct. Reference point T from there to the face of this, constrained by hitting a right arrow, constrained along the red axis, is 3 inches, just like I thought before. Let's go over to the other side, and let's go ahead and draw a reference line that will be our push-pull endpoint, just so we get this right the first time rather than adjusting things later. So I come over here, and let's go ahead and let's see here. We'll draw a reference line here. Line, start that intersection here, come out on this edge, 3 inches. And now draw a reference line, come out on this, and the green axis, left arrow, we'll come out here just as far as we want to go here. Actually, let's come out as far as this line. Oh, I can't reference the line, but I can reference the endpoint of that line. There. Now, now I have a corner over here that meets exactly that reference point over there, which was our reference point for that. So I have exactly the right reference point here, 3 inches in. Alright, now it's time for a push-pull. P, and because I'm going to want to meet that line, I'm going to choose a reference point down here on this face and push-pull it. Push-pull to that point. Now I have exactly the right width. But I have a lovely slide and some reference points, but I don't have rounded corners here. So this is where I'm going to use my follow me tool. But in order to use the follow me tool, I need to form a rounded profile that's going to follow the perimeter of this face. So let's draw some reference lines. One from here all the way, let's get the right one here. It's easy to pick the wrong one. Right to there. That's my reference point. Let's draw a line in 1/2 inch along that line, 0.5. And let's draw a line in from there, 0.5. Just to make sure I have it. Now let's draw our line out from there. So there's my end point. Follow the red axis, right arrow. Oh, not right arrow. Why isn't it? There. The right arrow didn't select. It's not. It's. Oh, I see. It's thinking I'm wanting that line. No, I want to follow the right axis, and come out 1/2 inch. 0.5. Oh, I thought I was going the other direction. Let's try that again. Endpoint. This direction. That's why the red line was going away, because it thinks I'm behind it. And let's do 0.5. There we go. Now we can do our arc. This is where I need to use not my standard 2-point arc, but this pi arc, because I want to draw an arc from there to there to there, and it thinks it wants to draw it on the red axis. Can I get it to change axis? No, it won't change axis. I have to escape and force it to be, it wants to be along the axis. So I got a problem. I'm trying to draw an arc that isn't in one of the reference planes. So I need to draw a line from there to there, and now I have a plane on which to draw my piece of the pie arc. So now let's go back to my arc, piece of the pie, and now there we go. We want it on that face. Now I choose that point. Now I'm on the correct face for my arc, and now I have an arc profile, and now I can start deleting my extra reference lines. Delete that line, delete that line, and delete that line. Because whenever you do a face follow me, if it runs into lines, they cause little extra lines to appear. Now, sometimes I extend this face, so when I do the follow me, it will fill in the middle. Let's see what happens. I don't have to do that. Let's try the follow me. Choose this face, click. Now if I start moving it, it will follow the perimeter, but if I hit Alt, now I can choose the face to follow, and it does a little bit of a weird thing here to me. I think it's because of the scale I'm at, but I haven't quite figured it out. It does not quite follow it perfectly, but we can fix this by drawing a few lines. This I just learned by trial and error. I didn't find anyone that taught me this. But I get this when I do the follow me. There's lots of other things I tried. I'm going to join those two corners, and that's enough for it to know to form a face along that. Now what I want to do is somehow form a face here, and with experimentation I realize that the circles have little edges to them in their segments, and if I just have the segments meet. Actually, I don't even know if I need to do that. Let's try the corner one first. Oops. Let's try the corner one. I think I don't have to do any more. Look at that. I had to draw 2 segments to fill that in. This one got filled in. I think it's just an artifact of slight miscalculations at the scale I'm at. Now let's go to the other end. And let's see how our corners did there. Oh, look at that. Those got filled in okay. So I'm good there. Now let's do the same thing on the other end. I wish I could select this and mirror it, but not to be. I can't select and mirror that face. So I just have to practice doing this. This time I'll start it down on this end. Again, I will do my reference line. Do a line L from that point. And I think part of it has to do with, see how those lines aren't meeting exactly? I'm not sure why that is, because I'm pretty sure I followed a perpendicular line when I did a push-pull. The other end there. Make sure I select the right point. And now I need 1/2 inch down from there. 0.5 along that edge. And now out from that end point, following the red axis, 0.5. Now, time for my arc, piece of the pie. Oh, I need to draw a plane, because it's not right on the plane. Now, I may have messed up and my slide isn't perpendicular, but it sure looked like it was. Now let's draw an arc on that plane. Center point. See how it's choosing? Because I started there, it just knows to choose that face. Start up to that point and at that point. And now I can delete a few lines and do the follow me. Select and delete. Select, delete. Alright, ready for the follow me. Here we go. Follow me. The face to follow. That's going to be profile extruded. And notice how it's not quite exactly meeting. I can't explain why. And now Alt to select the face of that and click. Now let's fill in some corners. That sure looks like that corner met. Maybe microscopically it didn't. Let's see if we fill this in whether we get faces formed. Draw a line, find the edge of that curve. There, I see a corner there, and there. Yep. And draw a corner. There to there. Look at that, fills that in. The other one's filled in. And let's go to the other end of my slide. Zoom out. Shift and shift. Looks like the corner holes are not there. Okay, so we're good. Alright, now before I move this, let's go ahead and give it a color, and then we'll finish this, because we've gone long enough. So I'm going to use my, I need to select it. I'm going to make it a component here. First I select it, triple click select, right click make component. I'll call that slide 2. Oh, actually slide 3. This is my third slide I've made. This came out better than the second slide because it was not quite in line with the axes. Now I'm going to paint that whole component, and I'll give it my, let's see here, what do we have for colors here? Let's do pink. And there we have our third slide. Now I can move that slide in. Let's go ahead and do a move. That's easy enough. We have a reference point. Let's use a reference point. Yeah, we'll move it along the axis. It looks like that's at a decent spot. So let's do, it's selected, so I hit M, and we'll choose a corner, and we'll move it along the blue axis. No. The red axis. No, the green axis. There we go. Yeah, the green axis. And move it in somewhere like that. Let's see what we got. Yeah, something like that. Click. Now, if I knew the exact dimension of that space, I would be setting a reference point. Alright. Hope you enjoyed that.